Welcome to Outlaw Woodworking. Today's a pretty exciting day. I finally got in the Dewalt Dw735X planer, and I'm really excited to do an opening and a review of this planer and also install it on my flip-top cart. And this flip-top cart's great. It's super space saving. I can actually leave the sides on it, and it flips up and down really easy. Anyway, today is all about the Dewalt planer. So let's get started, and we'll do an unboxing and installation of the Dewalt planer on the flip-top cart. And then afterwards I'm going to do a review and how I use this planer. Anyway, let's get started. This is basically an unboxing and part 2 of the flip-top cart build. In the first video, I built the flip-top cart and put the rigid oscillating sander on it. In this video, I basically flip it over and install the Dewalt Dw735X planer, and I'm super excited to have this tool. I've been wanting it for a long time. It's nice to have a joiner. I have a Grizzly joiner, but it makes such a huge difference to have a planer in the quality of the stuff that you can build. So this Dewalt planer I got came with the sides, and they fold up, which is really nice. So I figured that if I fold them up and use a little bungee, it'll flip right down. Anyway, to get started, I basically mark out all the holes for the Dewalt planer. And then I realize I'm going to have to take off the rigid sander in order to put these other bolts in, because they're right under the rigid sander. So I get out my impact and my wrenches and start unbolting this rigid sander. I'm using a Milwaukee impact and also some Milwaukee sockets, deep sockets. The bolts I'm using for the rigid sander and also the Dewalt planer are 3/8 hex lags, 6 inches long, and I'm using fender washers and nylon lock nuts. So right here I decide that on the sander I'm going to go ahead and put washers and nuts on here. That way I don't have to get under the planer if I need to take off the rigid sander. So I put all these on, and basically they'll be set up ready to go for the sander. And then I drill, after I get these all mounted, I proceed to drill the holes for the planer. And these are 3/8 inch holes. I drill a pilot and then I drill a bigger hole. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm basically going to run these up with a nut, and then I'm going to put another washer on top so that the planer is actually sitting on a washer. So it'll actually have an air gap underneath the planer and the sander both. Probably have like a 1/2 inch, whatever the thickness of the nut and the washer is, it'll have that air gap underneath, which will be nice because I could use an air gun and blow out any dust that gathers underneath it. So once I get that all set up, I proceed to mount the planer on there. And the planers, the mounting holes, were kind of in a tight spot. They're in the corners, so you can't really get an impact on them. You have to tighten them all by hand. And I also realized that where they have these mounts at, that the 6 inch hex lag or hex bolt that I put in there, it's probably 3/4 of an inch high, So if I lower the planer down, it might hit those bolts. So after I hand tighten all these bolts, because I can't get a socket or torque wrench or anything in there, I have to do it. It just, that's the position that they put those in. But it is good for, it makes the whole unit compact, so it works out okay. So after I get these all tightened down, yeah, if they were regular nuts, I could spin them down there with lock washers pretty easy, but these are nylon lock nuts. I then take my Milwaukee cordless grinder and I cut those bolts off so that they don't interfere with the planer. And then she's ready to flip and test it out. Well, actually right here I put the handle on, and I'm running this handle without, it has this big black piece that sticks out of there, but I don't need that. You can just twist the handle without that. And it worked really well. No problems. It fit really nice under there. And now I got to put the rigid sander back up there, get that bolted down. Now one thing I realized is that was one thing I did too. I made sure and put the dust collection both on the same side, so whenever you flip it, the dust collection's always on that side. So it kind of looks good. So yeah, right here I notch out the rigid sander because of the spindles. I wanted to be able to leave the spindles on there and not worry about it when I flipped it over. So I made a nice notch on the bottom, and then put the big spindle on there and basically made sure that it cleared real nice. Then I latched it all up. Now it's time to try out this new Dewalt planer. I've never used one of these before, but the reviews were really good. So I kind of go through the instructions, and it looks like everything's already set up. The only thing you really had to do was put on the dust collection and the handle, and basically there was nothing else holding it back from operating right away. I then put the sides on, and basically they just have some little push pins that you push, and it's easy to take them on and off. But I realized that I can actually leave them on and just have a bungee cord on it, and it'll flip right over without any problem. Right here I noticed that the my dust right fitting isn't very tight, but I hook a bungee up to it temporarily. I'm going to have to do a different fitting on that so it's a little tighter. But it did work, and I didn't get any dust or chips out of it. It has the Dewalt planer has a built-in blower, so it blows the chips into the hose. And of course, if I have the dust collection. Now here I saved this piece. This was a piece that I laminated together, kind of a little checkerboard pattern. And I was saving it for when I got this planer. So I ran this thing through both sides just to test out this planer and see how I liked it. And it really did a nice job. There was a little bit of, I don't know what you call it, stipple or snipe, or I think they call it snipe. I'll have to double check that on one end. And I think that that's just a matter of me learning how to use it better, and I think you follow it with another board, and you can keep from getting that. But it really did a nice job on that piece of wood, and I'm looking forward to making a lot of nice stuff with it. Right here I'm going to unhook everything and basically spin it around, and I figured out that I can bungee the two plates on there and just leave. I don't have to take them off. So it works really well. What a great idea, whoever originally invented the flip-top cart. I mean, obviously, I'm copying a bunch of people that have already done it. This is the Outlaw version. But there's where it goes, and yeah. Thanks for watching Outlaw Woodworking. This is a great addition to the Outlaw shop. And a few things I learned about it so far was to avoid, actually, this doesn't even have any on it. To avoid getting sniped, when I first put it in, actually, you put it in from this side. When I first put it in, I hold up on the board a little bit when it's going in, and then once it takes off, it'll avoid snipe. And then when it comes out the back side, before it comes all the way out, when I grab it, I lift it up a little bit and then pull it through, and it avoids any snipe. So far that's worked pretty good for me. The other thing is this dial right here. So this dial right here, you can set this to the thickness of your wood. So let's say you don't want your wood to get planed any lower than 3/4 inch. Now when you place this on 3/4 of an inch, it will not let you plane any lower than 3/4 of an inch. So this allows you to set your whether it's 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, whatever the thickness of your wood is, it allows you to keep from planing any smaller, and that keeps your wood nice and then I just use number 1. It has 2 settings here, a faster one and a slower one. The 1 setting is for much finer, nicer planing, and I just leave it on that. And then on this side you have your dial. So, you know, 1/2 of a turn is about a 1/16 of an inch, I believe. And I'm still experimenting with that, so each time I come down, I just do a 1/2 a turn and then run the board, and then I keep looking at it at that point. Thanks very much for watching Outlaw Woodworking. This has been a huge upgrade for the Outlaw shop, and I look forward to learning how to use it better. And it came with extra blades, which is really nice. And so far, I'm really excited to use this. You know, a review's not really good right off. You really need to use it for a while before you can do a good review. I've used this for only a couple days now, and I'm really happy with it. But we'll see how good it does after 6 months of use. And so far, I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with the flip top cart, and it enables me to, you know, to leave it over here in this corner, and basically the sides flip up. I mean, it's just a great addition to the shop. It's a little smaller than I wanted, but I have a small shop, and I just need to be satisfied with smaller equipment. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe, hit the bell, like the video, and I will see you next time. Later.